What if happiness was not just a fleeting emotion, but your true essence? Hello, hope your day is proceeding well. We're glad to see you back at ENL. In this session, I will dive deep into the question, is happiness really our true nature? I'm willing to test myself and see if I can find genuine happiness in just 1 week. Happiness. Happiness, is it something we're born with or something we need to chase constantly? I think we've all been led to believe that happiness is something we need to pursue. That is something that's just out of our reach. But what if I told you that happiness is actually our natural state and that we've just been looking at it in the wrong way? We're constantly being fed this idea that happiness is something we can achieve if we just work hard enough, if we just get that promotion, or if we just find the right partner. But here's the thing, it's a never-ending cycle. We get what we think will make us happy, but then we're left feeling unfulfilled. So we start chasing something else. And before we know it, we're stuck in this constant state of dissatisfaction. We're always looking for the next thing, the next achievement, the next possession to bring us happiness. But the truth is, happiness is not just something that can be found outside of ourselves. It's not something that can be bought or achieved. Happiness is a state of being, and it's a state of being that we're born with. But why do we always feel like we need to chase it? Why do we always feel like it's something just out of our reach? I think it's because we've been programmed to believe that happiness is something that needs to be earned. We've been taught that we need to work hard, that we need to struggle, that we need to sacrifice in order to be happy. But what if I told you that the opposite is true? What if I told you that happiness is not something that needs to be earned, but rather something that needs to be uncovered? Philosophies like Stoicism and Buddhism have been saying this for centuries, that happiness is not something that can be found outside of ourselves, but rather it's a state of being that we can cultivate from within. And it's not just philosophies, science is also backing this up. Studies have shown that mindfulness and self-acceptance are key components of happiness. When we accept ourselves exactly as we are, without judgment, without criticism, we open ourselves up to experiencing happiness in its purest form. We're no longer trying to change ourselves. We're no longer trying to fit into some mold. We're no longer trying to achieve some arbitrary standard of happiness. We're free to just be. And in that freedom, we find happiness. You know, I remember when I first started to grasp this concept, it was like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. I no longer felt like I needed to be perfect. I no longer felt like I needed to achieve some arbitrary standard of success. I was free to just be. And in that freedom, I found happiness. It was like a sense of peace had settled over me, a sense of peace that I've never experienced before. In that moment, I realized that happiness isn't something we need to chase. It's something we need to allow. We need to allow ourselves to be, to let go of our expectations, to let go of our need for control. We need to allow ourselves to experience life in all its beauty, in all its messiness. When we do that, When we allow ourselves to be, happiness just automatically arises. So, is happiness our true nature? In my experience, yes, it is. Happiness is not something we need to pursue. It's something we need to uncover. It's something that's been there all along, waiting for us to let go of our expectations, waiting for us to let go of our need for control. When we do that, when we allow ourselves to be happy, to be, happiness just arises. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have any thoughts on happiness, please share them in the comments below. And if you want to learn more about self-discovery, be sure to check out my next video. Thank you for watching.